I like I'm a problem solver, so I love problems. The more complex the problem, it's kind of like doing crosswords or any other brain teaser of I just see it as an opportunity to figure something out rather than let it frazzle me. And also just the inherent belief that every problem has some sort of a solution. It
Yeah.
may not always be the best solution, but there is a solution to every problem out there, and trying to figure out how do we keep iterating on this solution to try to solve for this problem. And when we work together, of course, that task us with some of those larger clients that just had these very complex needs. It was the
Yes.
first time, and a lot of these projects we worked on, it was the first time the company was doing it. And so I always felt really honored of getting to be on some of these projects and getting to be at the forefront of moving the business
Yeah.
forward. So I think it was both uh, wanting to go out and solve problems, and the problems themselves just being really unique. Certainly stress, but the people also made it really fun. I think a big part of any of the companies that I worked at, stayed at, is it does just come down to the team that you're working with, and
Mhm.
believing that everybody else is also there to want to find a solution. So you're working together towards a solution rather than working against each other to figure out who's in the wrong, who's in the right, wanting to show them up. So I think it just comes back to that. I love a hard problem and figuring it out. So
Oh, great. That's yeah. I mean, I can definitely see that. And I don't ever recall it you just being anything other than like, let's sit down together and work it out. It wasn't just you go figure it out and come back to me, which I always just loved. And it's just a really good leadership skill. So, and along that way, what are some of those leadership skills that you think are top of mind when you want to be successful in a leadership role?
I think the first, you touched on it a little bit, but humility. I like to think that I'm confident of my skills and what I know and what I don't know. I try to practice a lot of humility, that I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And so I tend to try to leverage the people who are around me to help me be better, to learn from them. And so I think with any good leader, coming into a problem and just assuming that you have all the answers, or that there is only one answer, one solution to a problem, and not having the humility of looking at it and saying, I don't know. I have some ideas. I'd love to hear other people's. I like to get people to push back on my ideas. I do that a lot, even with people that report up into me, that sometimes look to me or my title and say, you're a C-suite. You must know everything. I'm looking for you to tell me what to do. And trying to push their thought process a little bit, of asking them first, what do you think we should do? And then I'll tell you what I think that I would do, but it doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. So I think coming down to humility, and also just a level of pragmatism, I think goes into humility a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
while I do try to practice empathy and understanding where people are coming from, ultimately I've found that the best approach to solving a problem when there are a lot of emotions involved, is to approach it pragmatically and just say, here's what the problem is. Let's move emotions and feelings and where people are coming from to the side, and let's just talk about the problem and what are different solutions for it. Because then I think when you can get away from saying, making people feel like it's your decision, or your approach to that is wrong, or
Right.
your thinking is flawed. A lot of emotion can come with that, rather than just looking at it and saying, hey, this solution, here's why I think that solution probably is flawed because of XYZ reasons. But you take the emotion out of it, and I find leading with that way, where people understand that on a personal level, you empathize with them, you value them. But when you're looking at a problem, let's talk about the problem and the solution, and emotion doesn't need to be a part of it. And then you avoid people getting offended. And I think pushing that helps a lot of telling people that who do report up into you, and they
Right.
know that you have that authority to make the decision and all of that, but to get them to push back on my ideas, push back on this idea. You're not telling me that my idea is wrong or anything like that. So I think that also helps other people be able to disagree with the ideas that superiors have by looking at it pragmatically.